And so then you were a sports anchor at Channel 6.
Yeah.
And you know, the people you work with, Gary Papa, who's now sports director of Action News, and Scott Palmer is now director of public relations. That really says something to the success. What was it like working with those guys?
I had the great fortune of being around some incredible colleagues, and of course, foremost among them, the late Jim O'Brien, who was, to me, the greatest all-around broadcaster, not only in Philadelphia history, but anywhere in broadcasting, because he could do rock and roll radio, he could do television movie show hosting, morning show hosting, he could do news, sports, weather. But in addition, I got to work with Jim Gardner and Larry Kane, who back-to-back have been kind of the cornerstones of Action News' success for really 4 decades. And then in my department, I got to work with initially a guy named Joe Pellegrino.
Yes.
And then after I came on board, Scott Palmer and Gary Papa joined us, and I think we had a really good team of people who could both report live sports events and be in the studio. And really, as in so many aspects of life, to have that chemistry on the air requires chemistry off the air. And I think there was a lot of that among the Action News team.
Absolutely, and I was actually wondering, you know, the latest generation of journalists probably would not really know who Jim O'Brien is, so how would you explain who he is or his work ethic to somebody who doesn't really know?
I think Jim O'Brien can best be described as a beloved anchor person. And for those people who aren't familiar with Jim's career, Jim passed away in a parachuting accident where he saved another jumper's life by really, in essence, risking his own life, and unfortunately lost his life in the process. But Jim was truly beloved as an anchor person. And a lot of it came from the fact that his primary job at the time he passed away was doing weather on Action News. And a number of people said in the days following his passing that I thought really summed up the ultimate tribute to him as a broadcaster. They said that no matter what the weather forecast was, he made it fun. And that's very difficult to do sometimes when you have very bad storms coming through and you have weather that is changing people's plans and there are traffic and air delays and all. And yet Jim O'Brien had this unique gift as a weatherman to really be upbeat and positive, and people, like I said, considered him a part of their family. And that's something very hard to achieve on the air.
Now, I want to, in a minute, we're going to talk about your success with Winning Ways and One Child Safe. But
Thanks.
After a career hiatus to work on that, you went back to Fox 29 to, you were the inaugural anchor for Good Day Philadelphia. So what were some of the challenges in launching a brand new broadcast that had never been done in this particular market?
They were numerous, because you're starting from scratch. So as anybody who's been in broadcasting on either the radio or television side of the business knows, so much of programming success depends on what your lead-in program is. What are you on the air with before you get on the air? And that was something where we had to start kind of like at point zero almost, because you're coming from very low-rated, overnight, sometimes infomercial programming. And we were up against shows that in Good Morning America, the Today Show, and the CBS Morning Show really had been pretty well established. Good Morning America in particular in this market because of Channel 6's success. And I think what we decided to do at the outset, we as the group of people both on and off the air who started the program, was just try to go local and make sure that when one of our competing shows was doing something on a network level of general interest to the whole country, we were talking about Philadelphia sports or Philadelphia weather or Philadelphia traffic. And that was really where we were able to make some inroads during the couple of years I was involved with that show.
That's excellent.